Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All the praise is due to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His help and we ask for His forgiveness. And we take refuge with Allah from the evil of ourselves and from the evil consequence of our evil actions. We're here today to talk about the proof that Islam is the truth. Now, in the previous episode, we talked about and we discussed the written preservation of the Qur'an, how the Qur'an was preserved in writing over a period of the 23 years in which the Qur'an was revealed. However, it's very important to understand that primarily societies in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, were in fact oral societies. In other words, most of the information that they transmitted from one to the other was based upon stories, information that they remembered generation to generation, passed on from child to son, from father, daughter, and so on and so forth in gatherings. So this is how information was spread and memorized and stories were retained in the hearts and minds of people. And in that respect, the Qur'an is not really any different. However, the degree of the preservation of the Qur'an in its oral form is really something remarkable. And that is what we want to talk about today. Actually, the Qur'an itself mentions in the 17th surah, in the 106th ayah, the meaning of which is, and it is a Qur'an we have divided into parts, that you may recite it to men at intervals, and we have revealed it in stages. So the Qur'an is saying that it is a book that has been divided into parts, different chapters, and it was revealed at stages, and there is a great wisdom behind the creator of the heavens and the earth doing that. And the reason is because this facilitated the memorization and the retention of the Qur'an in the memories of people. God would reveal some verses of the Qur'an at a particular time concerning a particular incident, and people would memorize those verses. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the messenger of God, Muhammad, he would memorize those verses. Those companions who could write, those scribes, he would order them to write down the verses of the Qur'an, and they would write it down. But the Prophet himself, it's important to understand, was illiterate. He was ummi. He was a person who was not learned. He couldn't read and write. In fact, there were very, very few people in Arabia at that time who were actually capable of reading and writing. Very few of them. But some of them who could would write down the verses of the Qur'an on various bits of parchment and even palm leaves, or the cured animal skins or bits of papyrus, for example, which was all that was available at the time. But most people, they would memorize the verses of the Qur'an. Not only